Gauranga et tout le gloire à Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayana Namaskritya. Naram Cheva Narottamam. Devim Sarasvatim Vyasam. Tato Jayam Mugirayat. Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke. Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki. Avant de présenter ce Srimad Bhagavatam, qui est l'arme de notre conquête, j'offre mon hommage respectueux à Narayan, le Seigneur suprême, à Narayan Rishi, des plus parfaits des humains, à notre mère Sarasvati, la déesse du savoir, et à Vyasadev, qui en est l'auteur. Par l'écoute suivie du Srimad Bhagavatam, comme par le service assidu rendu au pur dévot du Seigneur, tout ce qui trouble le cœur du Bhakta se trouve pratiquement réduit à néant, et le service d'amour sublime que l'on rend au Seigneur suprême devient une réalité irrévocable. So today is Srimad Bhagavatam, the 10th canto, chapter 4, entitled. Alors je parle en français, non? English?
He doesn't speak French.
Tell me.
Amata, he doesn't speak French. He's from
Oh, so English.
Maybe do simultaneous English.
Yeah, but then someone tried to continue.
No, just English, it's okay, no?
It's okay, everybody.
Yeah.
English.
The atrocities of King Kamsa. Canto 10, chapter 4. Verse, what's that, the verse finally?
42 and 43.
42 and 43. It's the end of the chapter soon. It's coming. So maybe I will not be able to see very well. So
I think maybe if you do 42 yourself and then we do 43 together.
Yeah, because the board is a different verse.
Oh, it is 43 here?
43.
Yeah. Okay. Sri Sukha Vacha. Evam. Durman Tribi. Kamsa. Evam Durman Tribi Kamsa. Saha. Samantriya. Durmati. Sama Samantriya Durmati. Brahma. Imsam. Hitam. Mene. Prana Imsam Hitam Mene. Kala. Pasavrito. Sura. Kala Pasavrito Sura. Shri Sukha Uvacha. Evam Durman Tribi Kamsa. Saha Samantriya Durmati. Brahma Himsam Hitam Mene. Kala Pasavrito Sura. Shri Sukha Uvacha. Evam Durman Tribi Kamsa. Saha Samantriya Durmati. Brahma Himam Hitam Mene. Kalo Pasavrito Sura. Shri Shukavacha.
Evam Durmantri Vikamsha.
Evam Durmantri Vikamsha.
Saha Samantriya Durmati.
Saha Samantriya Durmati.
Ramal Himsam Hitam Mene.
Ramal Himsam Hitam Mene.
Galapashar Vito Suraha.
Galapashar Vito Suraha. Shri Shukavacha. Evam Durmantri Vikamsa.
Samantriya Durmati.
Samantriya Durmati. Brahma Hitam Mene. Kalapasavito Sura.
Shri Shukavacha.
Shri Shukavacha.
Evam Durmantri Vikamsa.
Evam Durmantri Vikamsa.
Sahamtriya Durmati.
Samantriya Durmati.
Brahma Himsam Hitam Mene.
Brahma Himsam Hitam Mene.
Kalapasavito Sura.
Kalapasavito Sura.
Shri Shukavacha.
Shri Shukavacha.
Evam Durmantri Vikamsa.
Evam Durmantri Vikamsa.
Saha Samantriya Durmati.
Samantriya Durmati.
Brahma Himsam Hitam Mene.
Brahma Himsam Hitam Mene.
Kalapasavito Sura.
Kalapasavito Sura. Now we should come back to verse 42, right?
Yeah, just maybe.
I will just do the translation, no?
Yeah.
Translation. So text 42. Lord Vishnu, the super soul within the core of everyone's heart, is the ultimate enemy of the Asuras and is therefore known as Asura Dvi. He is the leader of all the demigods because all the demigods, including Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, exist under his protection. The great saintly person, sages and Vaishnavas also depend upon him. To persecute the Vaishnava, therefore, is the only way to kill Vishnu. Purport. The demigods and the Vaishnavas especially are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord Vishnu. Because they are always obedient to his orders, Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam Sada Pashyanti Suraye. The demoniac followers of Kamsa thought that if the Vaishnavas, saintly persons, and sages were persecuted, the original body of Vishnu would naturally be destroyed. Thus, they decided to suppress Vaishnavism. The Asuras perpetually struggled to persecute the Vaishnavas because they do not want Vaishnavism to spread. Vaishnavas preach only devotional service, not encouraging karmis, jnanis and yogi. Because if one must liberate himself from material conditioned life, one must ultimately become a Vaishnava. Our Krishna consciousness movement is directed with this understanding, and therefore the Asuras always try to suppress it. I was born in the deepest darkness of ignorance, but with the transcendental torchlight of knowledge, my spiritual master has given me, enlightened me, opened my darkened eyes. I offer him my respectful obeisances. We shall just discuss a little bit the first verse, this verse, and then we go to 43.
Okay.
Yes. Now the Asuras, the Asura. This is the Asuric kata, the kata of the Asuras. Kamsa, yes, the ministries, the evil ministries who will badly lead the Kamsa to do wrong actions. As we said, the association is very important. People this, as we say, you say in Latin, asinus, asinam fricat. The ass, he always flock with other asses. And birds of the same feather flock together. Or tell me who you are associated with, and I will tell you who you are. So, indeed, if we associate with devotees, because devotees are very contaminating to others, you will contract some prem, maybe, God's love. As if you associate with a person who has, that's the case, is contracted tuberculosis, there is chances that you catch it. So if you associate with this person who are willing to go back to Godhead, then you may also back to Godhead by their mercy. Because actually we don't want to go back to Godhead. If we look deep in our heart, it's not our lolium, I speak for me maybe, it's not our main meditation. So what to do? How can we become willing to guard from the material entanglement? Is by associating with the devotees, associating with those who are already aware that this world is Dukhalayam is a place of misery. And actually, unless our activity are pleasing to Krishna, they don't have much value. Actually, they are vain. So that's what's her name? Gandharika reminded me this the other day, that how we can desire to go back to Godhead is by associating with people who are established in their relation with Krishna. As I said the other day, it was in the Radha Damodar temple, Radha Damodar temple, where Prabhupada used to live before. And when we do parikrama, there's many samadhis of great saints like Rupa Goswami and Jiva Goswami and Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami and Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, And I was playing Dandavat before the Puspa Samadhi of Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj. A bit casually, by pilgrims who do this. But suddenly it came so powerful in my heart, Who has ever come back to Godhead without obtaining the mercy of a Vaishnava, of a devotee? It came so powerful in my heart, So mostly, and recently I heard this, it's very prominent those days, Kesava Maharaj, He used to say the main thing I've founded in I owe to my establishment in spiritual life is the association of nice people. And I've heard this also, because I heard so many things, but that more important even than to chant Hare Krishna mantra is to associate with devotees. And Prabhupada created this movement actually to offer saintly association to people in general. Because, people are not aware of this. I open my Drakatnas. What is the nature of this world? It's a place of misery, ultimately. Even we don't realize it. Maya is very tricky, There is example given, She's on the way of cutting your leg, But at certain point she's blowing. You say, oh, it's so agreeable, But you're on the point of losing your leg, So that's, Maya comes in a very gentle and attractive way, There is a Tamal Krishna Maharaj, if you know him. He's the devotee of Prabhupada who had the most association with Prabhupada. And he told us once he was in a train in India. Indians are very tricky. I've heard this yesterday again about who was saying this. I think it's Krishna Maharaj. He says, Indians, I don't like India. The Indian people are very tricky. And Prabhupada said, but I am Indian. Prabhupada, I am Indian. And actually, I am very tricky. I've tricked you, to become devotees, Prabhupada. I am very tricky, said Prabhupada about himself. He has tricked us. He has cheated us to become devotees. That's a kind of trickery, Like a nurse, she will not say, "Watch out, I will hurt you very much with this syringe, with this needle. I will put it in your body and it will hurt." No, she says, "Oh, my dear boy, look, it's so nice here, I will give you very quickly. I will give you a nice sweet." But she's doing the same job, but you feel quite relaxed, So all this to say that Tamal Krishna Maharaj, so he was, trains in India. Those who have been in India know that the trains are very packed sometimes, more than packed, So, but still, So he sat on the bench, in the train, and there is one very skinny man who comes, he said, "Can you give me a little space?" So, Tamal Krishna said, "Okay, sit down." So and then he come his wife. "Please, this is my wife, push. So the wife and the two children, and he had to go, he was gone, he couldn't stay on the bench, he was out of the bench. So that's a bit how Maya acts, In a very tricky adult, we found ourselves somewhere else, So what's about the story, this great sages? Yes, then it's mentioned that Krishna is a provider. Nityo Nityanam, Chaitanya Chaitanya. Go. Eko Varnamyo. Vidadati Kaman. Et Nityo. Nityo Nityanam means eternal. Chetan. Chetan means those qualified with consciousness. Krishna and ourselves, we are eternal, and we are also conscious, as he is conscious. But Eko Bahanamyo Vidadati Kaman. It's him which is actually supplying to all the needs of all the others. The original Father, which is supplying, like here they say, that Krishna is supplying to the demigods, and Prabhupada explained that everyone is actually dependent on Krishna, whether we realize it or we don't. So this is also showing that the evil influence of the term of association, as we told you the other day, this Dvivida gorilla was a monkey, Asuric monkey. He was fighting on behalf of Ram in the Sugriva's armies, But somehow or other, he manifested a little envy towards Lakshman. He was a little bit envious. And due to this little envy and bad association he had, he became a demon. So beware of who you are. Check who you want to associate with. It's very important. So let's go to the second verse. We've read it. So, Shri Shuka Vacha. Shri Shukadev Goswami said. Evam, in this way. Durmantri be his bad ministers. Kamsa, the king Kamsa. Saha, along with Samantriya, after considering very elaborately. Durmati, without good intelligence. Brahmahimsam, persecution of the Brahmanas. Hitam, as the best way.
as the best way.
Mene, accepted.
Accepted.
Kalapashavita,
Kalapashavita,
being bound by the rules and regulations of Yamaraj.
being bound by the rules and regulations of Yamaraj.
Asura,
Asura,
because he was a demon.
because he was a demon.
Translation, Vaishnava Prabhupada.
Yeah,
Shukadev Goswami continued. Thus, having considered the instructions of the bad ministers, Kamsa, who was bound by the laws of Yamaraj and devoid of good intelligence, because he was a demon, decided to persecute the saintly persons, the Brahmanas, as the only way to achieve his own good fortune. You can repeat after me. Sukadeva Goswami continued.
Shukadev Goswami continued.
Thus, having considered the instructions of his bad ministers, Kamsa, who was bound by the laws of Yamaraj and devoid of good intelligence, because he was a demon, decided to persecute the saintly persons, the Brahmanas, as the only way to achieve his own good fortune. Purport, Vaishnava Prabhupada. Srila Lotcham Das Thakur has sung, je passe parce que j'arrive, c'est trop petit. I passed, I don't, cannot read in my eyes. I forgot my glasses. You can do it. You can read it.
Apana karma bhujaya samana kahayeno chanadasa. Instead of taking good instructions,
Yeah.
read the rest.
Now I can read. From the sages and the Shastras, godless non-devotees act whimsically, according to their own plans. Actually, however, no one has his own plans because everyone is bound by the laws of nature and must act according to his tendency in material conditioned life. Therefore, one must change one's own decision and follow the decision of Krishna and Krishna's devotees. Then one is rescued from punishment from Yamaraj. Kamsa was not uneducated. It appears from his talk with Vasudeva and Devaki that he knew all about the laws of nature. But because of his association with bad ministers, he could not make a clear decision about his welfare. Therefore, the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 22:54 says, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastrekoi, Lavomatra Sadhu Sanghe, Sarva Siddhihoi. If one desires his real welfare, he must associate with devotees and saintly persons, and this way rectify the material condition of his life. So, Aponaro Toitu Kichuri Rajani, Gramya Vivarata Ponditotai Satyamani. When Sanatana Goswami, because we see all these demons, we think it's not for us, you know. We think this is the demons and we are devotees. But we can see in the behavior of the great saintly personalities, you know, they consider themselves worse than demons. Like, devotee says, I'm lower than Jaga and Madai, who were the worst sinners, And by becoming spiritually educated, advanced, we are Krishna. Somehow or other, we become smaller than the smallest, actually. And there's one interesting thing that if we want to become bigger than the biggest, that's what the natural tendency in this world, then you have many enemies because we fight for the wisdom. But if we want to become smaller than the smallest, nobody will be envious of you. They will let you go, But the condition to become smaller than the smallest is that you have to become situated in goodness. Unless you are situated in goodness, why you should consider yourself smaller than the smallest, So devotees, and this Sanatana Goswami, he was saying, we said the other day, when he came from, he came to visit Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Benares, as the famous verses, where he's saying, Keami, Kene Amaere, one of the most basic verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Keami, Kene Amaye Jareta Patraya, Yanajani Kemane Itahoy. Who am I? Keami, Kene Amaye Jareta Patraya. Why are the laws of the threefold miseries bouncing on my head all day long, coming from body and mind, and coming from others? And natural. Why am I always disturbed and I don't know who I am, And then he goes, he continues, Aponaro ito kichu inajani, gramya vavarata pandito tai satyamani. I don't know what is good for me. What is bad for me, I don't know. What is good for me, that's nature also of demons. They don't, like cancer, he didn't know what was good for him. He behaved in such a way that he received bad instructions, So I don't know what's good for me, but still, when I go in the villages, Gramya Pandito, people think I'm a big pandit, but I'm nobody. I don't know what kind of pandit I am, I don't know what's good for me, We continue like this. And after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu answers, Jivela Swarupa, the famous verse also, Jivela Swarupa Hoy Krishna Nityadas. Like the actual nature of the living entity is that we are all Krishna Das, servant of Krishna. Jivela Swarupa Krishna Nityadas, Krishna Ratastasta Shakti Beda Prefer. We are simultaneously, the marginal energy of Krishna. What it means, marginal energy of Krishna means? No, no, marginal, what it means marginal?
It means it's situated between the internal and external energy.
And due to this nature, that's Krishna then says, Krishna Muli se jiva anadi beir mukha. Due to this,
turning your back.
Because of this, that being the marginal energy of Krishna, that has Beda Prakash, we become simultaneously one and different. But because we are marginal, we can choose between Krishna and the material nature. And this is mentioned, Krishna Buli. Because we have forgotten Krishna, Sejiva Anadi Bair Mukha. The living entity that we have turned our attention Bahir, like Bahir Nishingo, Hridaya Nishingo, internal and external. Bahir means external. Excuse me. Anadi Bahir Mukha. Since time immemorial. Adi. What means Adi? Those who have read Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Beginning.
Adi Lila, Madhya Lila. Beginning. There is Anadi. There is no beginning. Since time, if we are here since time immemorial. Whether we know it or not, we are supposed to be here from, I don't know how long, from since some time immemorial. We have turned our attentions toward the material nature. And as a result of that, Krishna Buri se jiva bayir mukho, ateva maya tare dewa samsara dukho. And as a result, Maya, she's kicking on our head in the cycle of birth and death. That's our condition, We have been kicked by Maya since time immemorial. And here comes the pure devotee, who comes and he wants to take us away from this vicious circle of samsara. Samastikya pala pala. No. Brahmande Bhumidekon, Bhagavanji. Say it again. Brahmande Bhumidekon, Bhagavanji. Guru Krishna Prasadepa Bhakti Asabij. So this living entity which we are wandering from one universe to another since time immemorial. But those who are very fortunate, they get the seed of bhakti planted in their heart by the mercy of the spiritual master and by Krishna. It's very rare actually. Human life is very rare already, and being able to receive, to have been fortunate enough to receive the seed of devotional service in our heart, it's very rare and very exceptional. So our part now is to be fortunate enough or intelligent enough to take advantage of this mercy we receive. It's also said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very lavishly distribute his mercy, but lavishly,
Yeah.
he gives to everyone. Like they give also this analogy of the king, who has been drinking too much, and suddenly he decides, now all my wealth I will distribute to the people, indiscriminately to everybody. But why? Although this mercy is distributed lavishly, why so few take advantage of this mercy? What is the qualification? I think I said it the other day. What is the qualification? So we take this mercy in our heart and we behave accordingly.
To be materially exhausted?
That's when, yeah.
Pious, you have to be pious.
When you are fatigued from material life.
Actually, Gokish.
You feel poor and you feel things are hollow. No substance.
The mercy of the devotee.
Yeah. I can tell you what on this subject the Govinda Maharaj is saying. He gives the example of a pot, an earthen pot. And if you want to keep cow milk in an earthen pot, there is no problem. It will be contained. It will not break. But if you put lioness milk in the earthen pot, it is so powerful that it will break the pot. So the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is like a lion. And lions are stronger than elephants. If you see in Mayapur, Mayapur, yeah, if you go all the way to Jalangi, on all the temples you see always lions which are getting on the case of the elephants. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is like a lion, and this milk of the lioness will break the earthen pot. So what is the trick? Is to put the lioness milk in a golden pot. So our hearts, they are like earthen pots. We will not be able to contain the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we have to transmute our earthen pot-like heart into golden pot hearts. So, and what is the chemical, alchemy? What is the formula to change an earthen pot into a golden pot?
Chanting mantra.
The formula is Tuna Lapi Sunichena, Tara Lapi Sarishvina, Amanina Manadina, Tutaniya Sada. The only name of the Lord should be chanted, feeling more tolerant than a tree, more humble than a blade of grass, always ready to offer its obeisances to others without any expectation in return. And in this way we can constantly chant the holy names of the Lord. Trees are considered very, very tolerant. You can pass tree. You can, lovers, they make hearts on their skin. You can use them to dry your cloth. And finally, what do we do with the trees? We take the fruits, we cut them down, and and they don't torment. They will tolerate. And it says that the sages, the sadhus, they are more tolerant than the trees. It is compared like the rising sun and the setting sun. If you don't know what is the time of the day or what is the direction, how can you judge? It looks perfectly the same, rising sun and setting sun. But there is a gulf of difference between the two. Because the tolerance of a tree is due to their very, very low level of consciousness. And the tolerance of the saints, of the great sages, the sadhus, their unfathomable tolerance is due to their very, very high level of consciousness. You know. It looks the same, you know, but it's very different. Tolerance of the sadhus is, you know, we have so many examples of their, you know, their, like, how you could recognize a wealthy man? Someone which is blindé, comment on dit en français. How you recognize a wealthy man?
Has nice clothes.
Yeah?
Big car.
Huh?
Big car.
Big car, yeah. So many symptoms, you know, big house and this, you can see.
You have servants.
Huh?
You have servants.
Yeah, servants. So now how do you recognize an exalted devotee? In the same way as a rich man can be recognized, how you can recognize?
He has the qualities.
What, yeah, but
The devotee's qualities. He has.
I mean, golden ring on his fingers?
No, the qualities enumerated.
Actually, it's like a pious tree. You know, there is two kinds of trees, pious and impious. There is some trees like the poplar, I don't know how it's in English. They stand straight, you know, they are very straight, but they don't give anything. But for example, amelgats, how is it in French? English? Mango tree. He is bent. He is bent because of the weight of the fruits. So who has developed love of Godhead, you know, the fruits of his good fortune make him bent. And this is the symptom of a person which is exalted actually is that he is very, very humble. He is bent by the weight of the fruits of love of Godhead he is carrying and is offering to others. You can see the behavior of the...
But also the Bhagavad Gita explains different things how to recognize a great Vaishnava. It's not just because of his humility. It's so many different ways, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. He has had the way he speaks, the way he talks to. He's always talking about Krishna.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this verse, there's one nice verse. Comment c'est? He wants, I say in French, it comes in English, I will say it comes in Sanskrit. If you are at least interested in spiritual advancement, Tattenu kambam susatmik samano, bunjana evatma pitam vipakam, yadvapurvi vidamnaste jivitasam. It's not that one. Anyway.
It's a different one.
Huh?
I think it's a different one.
Yeah. Anyway, if you are interested in the spiritual subject, we have to approach a spiritual master with oblations, you know, offerings. And what is the symptoms of the spiritual master? Huh? No, not this one. Anyway.
He knows the science
of
Krishna.
Huh?
He's
always talking, directly or indirectly, he's always talking about Krishna. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah. So Prabhupada gave us so many lights to recognize who is what, who is who, you know. We become very, I could see myself, but when I joined this movement, I became very, not judgmental, but very perspicacious, very sharp in understanding who is who, you know, what. We become very more, not critical, but become much more aware of things, you know, around us, you know. We are enlightened us with the torchlight of knowledge. So, yeah. So here it is saying that the verse 44, 42 or 43, that something about, oh yeah. By association and follow the instruction of devotees or Krishna, we become rescued from punishment by Yamaraj. So imagine we die, you die, and you don't have any tulasi on your neck, you know, and you find yourself in the court of Yamaraj, in front of my Yamaraj, what will you do?
Chant.
Huh?
Chant.
Chant Hare Krishna. Maybe. So?
There is a story of just someone who waved to the devotees unknowingly, without knowing nothing about the philosophy. Then when he went to Yamaraj, then Yamaraj said, did he do anything good in his life? Because he was such a sinner. And they found, oh yes, he waved to the devotees.
Oh, yeah.
So he said, Yamaraj said, oh, okay, so we cannot take him, he has to go back.
Actually, Yamaraj is one of the 12 Mahajans. Can you? So we shall remind ourselves who are the 12 Mahajans.
Janaka,
Giri, 12 Mahajans.
Janaka,
Prahlad Maharaj.
Bhishma, Brahmaraj.
Should I read it for you or Brahma? Yeah.
Bali Maharaj.
Yeah. Bhima, yeah. Bhishma.
Bhishma, sorry, Bhishma.
Narada Muni.
Narada Muni, yes, part of them.
Shukadeva.
Yeah. So Brahma, Shiva, Narada Muni, Manu,
Kapila,
the 4 Kumaras,
Kapila,
Prahlad, Bali Maharaj, Yamaraj. So Yamaraj is one of the 12 Mahajans actually. Bhishma, Janaka, Shukadeva Goswami, Kapila Muni. He's one of the 12 Mahajans. Means he's on the level of Rupa Goswami, you know. So you just tell, oh Maharaj, I know that every morning you are having your Srimad Bhagavatam class. Can I come to your Bhagavatam class? Then he will, oh, you're interested in Srimad Bhagavatam. Yes, please, come. So that's about an interesting things, and then we shall finish, I guess, because after. About the Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha Savat Siddhikoy, Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha Savat Siddhikoy. One city was the Ambarish Maharaj. He's the one who got cursed. He was almost killed by Durvasa Muni, right? Ambarish Maharaj, eh? Is it? You know the story when what is the name of this? Just say now. When Durvasa Muni, he went to visit Ambarish Maharaj, who was fasting, and he wanted to take bath. And it was the time for Ambarish Maharaj to break his vow, his fasting. And he was thinking, oh, now I should not eat or drink before my guest. But he was thinking drinking is like breaking and not breaking, so he drank some water.
Charamrita too.
Yeah, Charamrita. And when Durvasa Muni was kind of omniscient, he started to curse him. You have a guest of my caliber, and you dare drink before me in my absence. And then he took a hair from his head, smashed it, and big giant demon appeared, about to kill Ambarish Maharaj. You know the story. It is Ambarish Maharaj, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's him. Huh? And so on and so forth. As you know, then Sudarshan Chakra appeared and chased Durvasa Muni all around the universe. He tried to find solace, but he couldn't find. Not solace from Shiva, not solace from Brahma, not solace from Vishnu. How he can find solace?
Going back.
And asking for permission. Forgiveness, yeah. So Ambarish Maharaj, he had a brother who was a big demon. He was a terrible guy, And one day Narada Muni comes to visit Ambarish Maharaj, and Ambarish Maharaj tells him, oh, Narada Muni, I have a very sinful brother. He's just waiting for, he shouldn't leave, he's so evil person that this future is more than dark, it's very terrible. So can you please go and preach to him? He's a quite dangerous person, because he's very asuric, but please do something for my my brother, you know. So Narada Muni goes, you know, he crosses the different guards and he comes to this exalted, materially exalted brother, and he starts to preach to him, you know. And immediately the brother, he took out his sword, you know, ready to chop off the head of Narada Muni. So Narada Muni ran for his life, you know, and he came back to Ambarish Maharaj. He said, "I'm sorry, your brother, it's too much. I cannot preach to him." But Ambarish Maharaj was very determined. He said, "Please, this boy, you know, maybe you risk a little bit of discomfort, but try to do something for him, you know." So Narada Muni was a bit, you know, it's a bit dangerous, but he went back, and he said to Narada Muni, to this brother of Ambarish Maharaj, what happened if someone unwillingly, unknowingly, and unknowingly, so without wanting, without knowing, meets some other as the association of a pure devotee of the Lord, and he ran away. What happened to someone who unknowingly, unwillingly, and for a very, very short period of time meets with a pure devotee of the Lord? What happened to these persons? He asks these three questions. Unknowingly, unwillingly, and for a very short period of time. If one sees a pure devotee of the Lord, what happened to him? Lavamatra sadhu sangha. And he ran away. So time passes, and the evil brother of Ambarish Maharaj dies, you know, and he finds himself in front of Yamaraj. Of course, you know, big, you know, what's his name? The list of
offenses.
With the associate of
heinous acts. Heinous acts.
Yeah, which has been recorded by Chandragupta. Who is the secretary of Yamaraj? Hein? Tissu? Anyway. And so the list is unfathomable. And suddenly to this poor evil king, you know, brother of Ambarish Maharaj, he remembers, "Oh, Yamaraj, I have a question for you. What happens for someone who unknowingly, unwillingly, in a very short period of time, sees a pure devotee of the Lord, as the association of a pure devotee of the Lord?" Then Yamaraj is scratching his head. I cannot tell you. I don't know really what happened to this person. Maybe we can go and see my brother. We can go see Lord Shiva. So they go to Lord Shiva, and the Yamaraj and this king, you know, this evil king, they come to Lord Shiva and ask him, "Do you know, Lord Shiva, I have a question for you because I cannot answer. What happened to someone who unknowingly and unwillingly and for a very short period of time has the association of a pure devotee of the Lord?" And then Shiva is thinking, "I don't know really what is the answer. Let's go see Brahma, you know." So they go to Brahma. So what? Same question. Do you know Brahma? What happened to someone who unknowingly, and for a very short period of time meets a pure devotee of the Lord? Brahma doesn't know either. So they go to Vishnu finally. What is happening to someone who and for a very short period of time
Meets a pure devotee.
And Vishnu said, "Okay, don't bother about that. This guy, he came to me now. How can I send him back to hell? You stay with me." So this guy, which was destined to go to hell, he was rescued. That's the effect of the association of lavamatra, of a very tiny association can save us from the greatest dangers. Neha Bikrama, you see? Neha Bikrama Nashasti. Pratyavayona vidyate svalpam apridharmasya traitam pantumai. Very, very minute act on devotional service can save us from the greatest type of fear. And what is the greatest type of fear, as you know?
It's gliding down.
To take birth in animal kingdom. So, as we know, we have this good fortune and power to give it to others. It's time now. If you have some comments or questions. It's 9 already. So that's why the serious devotees, you know, they do everything to have people that become benefited by the mercy of the pure devotees. Very serious. Okay, we stop now. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Actually, it is.
Tous les gens qui ont rencontré Prabhupada, il ne s'est rien passé.
Ouais. Ben, on ne sait pas, peut-être qu'ils ont. On ne sait pas. Hein.